So slinking into Oregon, map 2 of this best of 3, and it is Talon's map, but will it be Talon's map or BSG's series at this point?
That's kind of what we're looking at right now, right? The first map should have been closer than it was, or it should have been a Talon victory. I think it's fair to say it could have been a 7-4 for them as well. So that is something that they have in the back of their minds. They know it should have been theirs. Now they're headed over towards Oregon, which is their actual map. Now, it's a decent map for both these teams. I believe it has like a 75% win rate for Talon, like a 60% win rate for BSG. So it does show that both these teams know the map, which might be actually worrisome for Talon.
Well, I think that's the sort of thing here, is Oregon is known ground.
Yeah.
I said it at the time, the fact that you're bringing Oregon in the best of 3 is a confidence marker of our Oregon is better. It's one of two things. A, it's the confidence marker of our Oregon is better than their Oregon. We're going to beat them in Oregon. You expect everybody to have an Oregon. It's a statement of saying ours is a better Oregon. B, you don't have a very deep map pool. That's the other reason that you would bring this map, in my opinion, on a sort of best of 3, because you want to test teams, and you know it's going to be a long series. You could play 45 rounds of Siege, and the more awkward, the more uncomfortable you make your opponent, the less Siege you got to play, the quicker you can get into this game. And what was it? Laxing said that coming onto the NAL desk, he feels exhausted after doing a show, but his comparison was, it feels like I've played a map of Comp Siege, which is 3 maps of Comp Siege. I couldn't do 3 broadcasts in a row. I would die.
3 days in a row?
Well, like back to back. The 5-minute break.
10 seconds to insertion.
Rough.
I mean, we've all had those days when we just started out where basically on for like an entire day with minimal breaks, but that is just draining, especially for these players. They need to be hyper focused for each and every single round. As soon as you slip up, well, that's going to be a mistake that gets made, and that's going to be your opponent that manages to bank on the back of that. Something we saw PSG do repeatedly in that last map, so they'll be looking for more of those mistakes. Might actually be looking to pressure Talon into making those mistakes. Default cams are quickly being checked just to see if there's anybody inside the building yet.
Talon, I want to see when this plant starts to come together, and obviously it's the first site and you're putting the pressure onto Dorms, but I've said it a couple of times over the sort of pre-game and preamble, is it's not just about when you're looking towards getting that plant down, but it's the work that you do to allow that. Now, Gaki is still happy in tower, uncontested. It sort of flies the flag that, well, maybe they'll rotate here later, or it's just a heavy push onto this side. Yeeble, inside trophy, as Ryder gets the first take onto Jin. Caught underneath, they have that rotate locked down, sort of a body handed towards the gauntlet, but they're still sat, waiting. There's a slow pressure in towards the top of Armory Stairs. They force Yeeble further and further around the corner. When will push come to shove?
It's Crazy Boy. It's going on a bit of an adventure now. Here's the repel from Roy Boy, and that might actually be exactly what he's looking for. The drones are in sight. They're going to be spotting out some players. Oh, that's a nice little Kiba barrier if you manage to get behind it. Some good cover to go for. And Crazy Boy for the jump out. We'll find Roy Boy. As we just mentioned, he's going to be trying to make it as uncomfortable as possible. And then you've lost that advantage you just had. One thing you know is that one is currently offside, but it's also a Capcan who could have a C4. Was already used. They might not know that.
Loading mag.
Yeeble took a lot of damage from the scrape and the pop round on the corner there. But with a minute left, and they're still sort of slightly better than they were. Inside trophy, Vamos is able to swing around and get the down onto one player. Goes and double dips with the shotgun. Didn't really need to. The rotate round on the back. They pop up, get one, get two. Crazy Boy gets the rotate, and again, they had the territory of bedroom at about 2 minutes left, right? And then over the next minute and a half, all they were able to get was some feet inside trophy.
I was going to say, I mean, it's not like they didn't know there was a player downstairs. The man jumped out 30 seconds before, found Roy Boy, and then he never came up. They had drones around. They knew he didn't come up wide stairs. There's only one other staircase he's going to be able to get back up from, and well, guess what? There's the armory stairs. Go. Found 2 more kills from there.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
Where's the flank watch? Where's the drone watching for that to happen? Like, you've already lost the player. Someone should be making sure your flanks are okay. I think Anne just said that Crazy Boy has equaled his kills from the first map in that one round.
Got 4 kills, and it's nice when you sort of say things and they come true. We said Crazy Boy was going to be jumping out and going more into that engagement game, and there he is, doing exactly that. He threw himself out of the side, and first round, you're against Storms. It's the tough side, and you're just now sort of eyes on the game of Talon, right? BSG can play their game at this point, but it feels like Talon are their biggest enemies, and you wonder, because they can be such a good attacking team. They can have more of a confidence. It's strange to see them a bit crestfallen here. They have all of the drop on this Goya. It's a clean take onto Gaki. Ryder puts the pressure behind him, so they know his rotates should be cut off. He slips out. He's still being hot droned. He's well aware of it at this point, and he pulls himself step by step back. He has a bit of support onto the side of Zulu. Oh, great take. Jin removes JLT, and it's a hell of a shot, but again, the full dive there has netted them -1.
That was a good drone. Did they realize where the player was and try to act on the back of it? I don't think there was anything inherently wrong with it. It's just unfortunate when you lose out a player like that and you find yourselves again in the disadvantage. And look at that, Crazy Boy is just going to be throwing down some shots through the tower when he had a yellow ping to go on the back off. Knows he might be coming towards the attic now, and he's not giving up the fight. He's going to be staying up for as long as he can. With 2 minutes left on the clock, Talon going to be very worried, Emmy, because what control do they have? Well, they have one part of the building, but people keep on popping up, keep on popping shots towards them. They're not going to be comfortable doing anything right now.
Crazy Boy is removing what has otherwise been taken from them as the pools come out. They're sitting, waiting, hoping. I'm not really sure if...
That's a nasty angle.
No, they haven't done any work on any of the hatches either. They've only really got the pocket breaches. And otherwise, you're thinking, well, what are they going to try and get rid of here? What's the take that they're going to try and piece together without any concernable hard breach? Because it's quite a lockdown site, right? You're looking at this as a lockdown hold. This wall, very tricky to take without anything that you can do a bit ranged. They're pinging out the utility. Remember, one of the things I said is try and find a way to get rid of that utility a bit earlier. Doesn't get the steal there, but sat on your drone at the top of the stairs with time steadily ticking away. Well, at least they got the SAM cam onto that one.
Might have been able to just get the hack on the EDD as well, but I'm not 100% sure. They might have taken it out as a result. Just to be safe. Pressure's definitely coming down, though. 30 seconds, but 2 players eyeing up to go through the hatch. 1 from barrels. Well, we're very set up for this push to come through on the side of BSG. Just close up elbow as well, so they don't have to worry about that. Double C4 kill potentially to come through.
No, Means is able to find 1, but there's the swing round of Crazy Boy. Gets the drop before being dropped, and they've found themselves inside the hatch. But with 15 seconds left, with another canister popped as well, right on the plant spot, you're again looking at this moment, this struggle. Look at all that smoke that they still have to try and push through. They make themselves a new route through. The swing comes around. Ryder takes a lot of damage, but gets the drop to 2 versus 1. Technically, they just have to get towards the planter. They've got to win the fight. There it is. There it is. Vamos!
Oh, that's a huge get again. Time, like if they would have had more time, they wouldn't have had to go that deep. You mentioned it, like all the utilities still out there. It starts burning. They're forced through a different route, which actually makes them more vulnerable to these kind of plays. And that's exactly what happens. And it's just another round that goes BSG's way. And I said it before, if they get 3 rounds in a row, I think this is over. I think then Talon is going to be completely crushed. So luckily for them, it's a true sight now. I hope it's lucky for them, actually. I don't know what to think right now, but there's limited space you actually need to take control of. That might help them. They need to take small tower. You open up above so they can put some verticality down, and you take the showers. Then you can go for a plant. It's as simple as that. You don't need more than that. once you have those 3 rooms, you should be set to plant. So, with the Ossa on the board, especially, Talon, they should be able to pull off a play here.
10 seconds left before insertion.
The third site. The site where, you know, a 4-2 split isn't the end of the world. A 4-2 split is pretty standard approach here, but I feel like I could watch this team attack any site, and you know, it's like training in. Yeah, it's like training an AI, but it just keeps learning off of same wrong sort of thing into dining. It's the push. They've brought the Ossa, they've brought the Dockerby, they've got everything to try and strong arm the take here. They have more malleable hard breach. They're up against the Clash of Yeeble. The Clash isn't the most common picked sort of operator, but here it can be a little bit of a problem child. The long range of that Talon shield is just gonna, well, there may be some chance of a rotate and some cover that they can watch from range. Still just droning out, trying to find the pieces of the puzzle and the players that are otherwise there, like the Clash. Just a sort of on a string, a bit of elastic that keeps pulling and moving across.
So what do they have to deal with a Clash? It's like Clash just going to stand there. They have to go for a different side. Oh,
look at all of them. All right, yeah, here's the rush. All right, they're going to see if they can try and maybe move in and rush onto the back. They realize it's all clear here. The deploy of the Talon will break that instantly, and well, Yeeble has no idea at this point. There's a single player that's dropped on the opposite side. They lose the fight on the second story. Ryder's going to go for the plant itself. The call will come out, and Roy Boy does get the cover. The Clash is on the way. Vamos winning out against Misa. It is, for the first time on Talon's attacks today, a proper post-plant. Sayora is getting the stretch of the utility on the back end. They have this watch. There's a Clash that's putting the close pressure onto Osso, who's being zapped from behind the shield itself. The rotate. Crazy Boy and Vamos round towards Addict's side as Ryder's able to lock out one. Roy Boy goes down. Another great take from Ryder. Talon cannot theoretically lose this.
It's a super shorty as well on Evil. Like, just keep your distance. There's no way he's going to be able to win this. As a shield, there's one in the close corner next to him. Just going to have to try and go for a stick verse with the shield on it. Let's go see Arda picks it up. So well done by Talon there. I read it was going to be too much effort to get through the small tower side of the map. So they just went for a quick push. They realized there was nobody there to actually stop them. And they found success on the back of it. So well done for Talon. As they read the one opportunity they had and took it with both their hands.
I feel a disturbance.
What's the disturbance you're feeling
in the
right now?
I mean, you hope that they feel that as well. Like, that was a weight off of my shoulders, and I am just watching. I'm sure it's a weight off Talon's fans' shoulders, but I can only imagine it's a weight off of Talon's shoulders itself as well. They did a quick execute. They knew what they wanted to do. They pulled it apart as a team. They were prepped. It was, you know, they had some ingenuity. They didn't have the Gon 6 for the quick door, so they utilized the Talon shield. It's a sort of instant break. You can get through it without having to make too much noise and do it quickly. And then when they lost the player, they lost the person to the fight above, they then moved where the plant was going down. And
attackers must locate and defuse
they've done it. Can they do more?
No, they need to do more. Need to get like 2 or 3 rounds on this side of the map if they want to get themselves an opportunity to, you know, win this map. I have to say. Again, yes, it is a weight off their shoulders. They managed to get a pretty clean kind of round. And it wasn't flawless, it wasn't close to flawless, but at least play the objective quickly. And Misa finds Crazy Boy now. It's a great start to your round as well, but it's just Jin looking to lean back into the fight from where they just lost someone. Shows you BSG that they're not afraid to just take any fight they can get. As long as they can fight, they're happy.
They get the early body, Crazy Boy. Tried to throw himself out, tried to get himself into that engagement, and suffered. I said it was going to be a point to pass, and remember when I talked about them teching this site before, it took them forever to get anything beyond the control of Bedroom. And they lost the eyes on the rotate, they lost the eyes on the players coming around the back end. Ryder is paying keen attention to that, and they did net a kill on somebody the last time they were here, and then just sort of let the territory fall away. So when will Gaki get a bit of motion on?
Actually have a flank watch now, which is something they lacked before, and that's exactly how they lost a round previously out here. As Jin is receiving small amounts of pressure, now he's just gonna have to try and hold up. Time is slowly ticking down. I don't know what Talon is waiting for before they start breaching. Might be afraid of Gaki being out here. He's definitely been spotted. Definitely gives away his position now, so he needs to double time out of there before Ryder's going to be taking it. And it's actually Ryder who's looking to find a spot onto. Oh, finds Jin as well with the very final shot before he faded away. That was just to make sure there was no impact stopping that the exothermic from going off.
Sometimes those fights just connect, and here the motion onto the double window. Suddenly Talon has remembered how to play the game. They jump in, they put pressure on multiple angles, they've wrested control of portions of the site, and Yeeble's trying to bite and fight their way through it, but JLT's on the flank. They're not going to get it because Siora's there first, leaving just Gaki. It's almost a different team right now. The plant has gone down with 40 seconds left. After a multi-pointed attack, they have the single player left on the back. Siora's not leaving, they're holding the pixel. Just slip a couple of pellets towards the players. JLT's dancing to make themselves awkward, waste as much time as possible here on the back end. Gaki's got a tricky ask. Just misses one of the engagements, just misses the second. They're getting quite unlucky against the motions here of Talon that's baiting these fights. They've tucked themselves closer and closer in. They want the next fight to come their way. They're having to push closer. At this point, they're out of time. The pistol onto one. They've just got to hold it for now, but the rotate comes around the back. Talon! 2 attacks in a row. Where has this team been?
Start wondering where that came from. And suddenly they have a flank watch, Emmy, something they lacked in the first round.
Hap, they have a flank watch. They have an execute behind the flank watch. They don't just wait and sort of go, okay, well, let's do the flank watch thing first. They go, let's do plan A and a bit of plan B at the same time. Let's bring stuff together. C, they have the pressure from an opposite side to draw the attention and the focus away. This is stuff that they can do well on their game, and they were only just remembering it here.
Maybe they need to roll a d20 every round to see, like, if their attacks will be good or bad.
It's just... it's a bit of a relief, because I was worried I was going to lose my mind. Fully.
There's still time for that, don't worry.
I was gonna do a Bobby to just start swearing.
See, I was thinking about it last map, but I managed to hold back.
10 seconds to go.
Alright, Talon, showing some good stuff here. Up towards the basement site. See if you can be successful there as well. You kind of lacked time when you went for the execute here. And it wasn't really necessary with the kind of attempt you went for. So let's see if you can speed it up a little. Get those aromas out of the way quickly. I believe there was only 2 for now. That drone from Sayora should be able to at least provide some safety. That's a jump out, perhaps. I don't know how that's going to be useful.
Not this team.
Might be an escape
Not my
route,
crazy
actually.
boy.
It was actually Jin.
Crazy boy will still find it.
Let's just prepare for crazy boy.
Hunting down Jin on the top, and great first take there from Jin, and they're going to get themselves rooted and wrapped right the way back round. But
oh,
no square way out. JLT had the watch.
Was someone ready for the flush out? Someone ready to respond to a jump out instantly after? Well, that's improvement as well for the side of Talon. They still lose the first, but it's a very clean take on the second one. As Ryder now goes through, wins the fight on Vamos, who has the shotgun in hand. Things are suddenly starting to look a lot better for Talon. I honestly cannot tell what suddenly made this switch happen in terms of attacking capability from Talon. There's still plenty of time for them to like potentially lose this, but overall, the last 3 rounds have looked a lot better.
Clear the blast area.
Gaki doing their best to hold out. They were a focus at the very start of the series as a player that needs to step in, and now would be the perfect time when you have so much going against you. Remember last time how Talon attacked this and they didn't really do any pressure and any presence outside of the push here? They've got the freezer pressure, and that was just rotten timing. It was a good idea there from Talon to swing behind the drone. Does Gaki know that there was a second player there? He did get the drone as the follow-up. It's the Kit as well. If he can win this engagement. There it is. Gaki's just isolated the Kit. Finds another. I said he needed to sort of step up as a potential here, but I didn't expect it this hard.
Now Roy Boy, the last man standing, 40 seconds. As an open hatch will drop electrical. It's going to be a lot of sound, but might be able to find one on the back. No! Misses the opportunities. Has that diffuser. It's going to be with his back pointing towards one of them, and it's Yeeble to close it off. The Warden doesn't get flashed that easily. And it's going to be still PSG to win that round, but overall, the start of that round, let's just put it like that, looked a lot better from Talon. They had flank watch ready. They were droning out that player on the top. They had someone ready to respond to it instantly afterwards. It was a 4v2. And it's just unfortunate you lose all your members in that quick succession by that single player that just seems to be slipping away from you time and time again.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
3-2, and BSG pull around back. I'm not going to say it was overconfidence that's been punished, because they were still trying quite confident plays. The rotate out, the player, the solace here. It came down to a clutch. And as strange as it is to say, this is one of the first 1vx clutches of the day that I don't entirely blame Talon for failing on. They didn't give them as much as a hand. It was a huge performance from Gaki, winning out those engagements, knowing when to swing either single side. Talon didn't really make the mistakes there, for my money and for my part. And maybe it shows there's still a bit of the fight going across, but let's see where it goes from this point onwards.
Still, they've shown that improvement. They just need to do it again over the top floor. It was very dominant the last time around. They need to just have a little bit of that right now. Opening on the door, I believe the drone might have just rolled underneath. Should be able to spot out the player near the main stairs, or at least, hopefully, Talon will spot out the players on the main stairs. Otherwise, that might be a problematic player out there. Could go for a run out. Look at that, Yeeble's eyeing up a potential excursion to the outside, but decides against it in the end.
Spraying, hoping to get the connection. Otherwise, drifting further and further away from the fights. We have seen this Warden run away from a lot of flashes. I know Anne had opinions.
Yeah, Anne is losing her
For
mind
those
about
who
that.
play ranked and play as Warden, they have an ability, not just 1.5.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's just the 1.5. That's why everybody's picking Warden.
It's so fun banning Warden in ranked now, because there are players that get legitimately angry. Gaki, the man of the previous moment, will get picked up here. The E1D is just to confirm there is no one coming to support them. And it's a bit of a loss here. Yeeble flirting with the dangerous idea of going back. Talon, they're spreading their attack. They're spreading their wings. And trying to dig those Talons in across multiple different parts of the map itself. This is, I think, the first time they've sort of had the direct line on pressure onto Attic on the back of Trophy this early. Now, Roy Boy loses out underneath. There's a second follow-up fight, though, and that impact doesn't quite get the catch on the hard breach, but Jin's happy to have his life.
The opposite, actually. He managed to do more damage to Jin himself rather than to one of the others. Now, as the flashbangs are starting to come through, of course, they're going to be aware that a push might follow up on the back of it, and Crazy Boy getting himself ready in a bit of an alternate angle, but also still afraid of what could be coming through Trophy. So, they're trying to spread their attention right now to make sure that they have everything covered. Jibo actually in a very dangerous position. I'm not sure if the wall behind him had been reinforced out there, but it seemed like it was half open. As Ryder basically grabbed himself out of the attic, doesn't want to stick around there. Okay, reinforced afterwards, I think. Can't quite see.
Riders dabbling with an idea on a take. Hoping to get the catch. 20 seconds and 8 players left. Having flashbacks here, but at least they have players not all in the same drop in the same location. The worry is BSG is ready to do this. Pop back up, go for the strike. They've pulled themselves away from the site and portions. JLT caught further and further. The trap has been laid. Yeeble is waiting for this rotate. The Kit is cold inside, and Well, we got to a 4-2 for the time round at the end there, but it somehow feels a little bit less sour than some of the rounds we'd otherwise had before.
I think it definitely helps that Talon after the mid-game point kind of managed to get their rounds together slightly. I mean, that last round wasn't as good as the previous 3 they've played before that. Still some good things to be shown, but luckily for them, they're headed over towards their defense now. They get to set up whatever they want to do. They get to make their own fortress. It's going to be BSG that needs to execute. And remember what I said about Amaru and a shotgun on this map? Crazy boy. Seems like we might be getting that for the next 6 rounds. I mean,
yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
Also
basement, you ask? Yes, also basement.
Also basement. I mean, you know, you gotta get up to the top quick. Yep. We'll see. I mean, we'll see how they try and throw themselves in here. There's hatches, there's plays and positions. You can utilize it. I guess we'll see what gun they've opted to go for. The combo with the blitz and the thinker. Oh, they're onto bees though. Okay, so they've gone to a slightly different play here. The Grim strangely makes a little bit more sense and noise alongside the blitz and the thinker. It might allow them to lead through. Finker's a rare hit.
I don't see that often anymore. Yeah.
No.
Some small opportunity for healing. Like also the resistance to barbed wire is still there, I believe. Not that there is that much on the ground. Robbery still has 1 in pocket. I'm not quite sure what the reason is behind that. Besides that, it's just going to be mainly a healing operator's rider. Solace managed to spot something out at least.
Attackers have located a bomb.
He's just going to be waiting, and you know they might know about his position as well. Should that make it a bit more tricky to be in?
Reloading.
Thanos should have seen. Rider's trying to rotate out. No one is there to punish him for now. Is someone trying to push through on the shower corridor though, and also afraid of someone potentially coming in from the basement. I mean, there is a drone coming from there, so that's definitely telling something. I don't think there's actually someone out there. It's Crazy Boy. He's looking to just go to the side, I believe. Maybe he's eyeing up a plant already.
He's forcing some pressure. He's drawing some attention. When you have those Grims being, the bees being popped, it gives you a bit of a read. There is the player underneath in Freezer. Gaki has an awareness of, and the Blitz is going to see if they can... No! Looked by a shotgun, picked up by the fight afterwards. Not really how you expect it. Jin does get the follow through. A great read on where the players were, but with Misa getting Vamos, sort of undoes the body advantage. Crazy Boy cannot lose his life when he's too far away because that would really dampen things. JLT was stepping up for the fight on White. He knows that there was a player curious about that engagement. Misa still on the roam underneath for all the work. I mean, there it is. Gaki picked off by a player that she sort of pulled this round back in.
Now they're gonna go on a hunt for them. It's not gonna find them. There's 3 staircases backed up. It's the tower stairs that gets chosen because there's no pressure out there. Oh, great shot to come through from GLT. Be able to remove both of them in the end there as he hurt the push to come through. Also even transferred off in the middle. A bit of style points coming through. That's a great round for Talon. But it mostly relied on Misa on that little flank though. Being able to really be disruptive. And that's kind of the playstyle that we've seen BSG use against Sandbox, which almost managed to land them a map. And now it's hurting themselves.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Order 3. And with good play on the roam, good play on the width, Talon have gained some confidence. There's still a concern, Hab. I have a concern I would like to raise.
Yes?
The third map is Consulate, correct?
Correct.
Correct, yep. And that is a map where generally, you know, it's new. And attackers struggle.
Yeah.
Talon, if they win this, still have to go there.
You're also very correct at that.
10
Yeah.
seconds left.
I'm just gonna put a pin in that concern. I've put a pin in that concern. I've put it on the wall, and we'll get back to maybe that later.
Attackers are heading out to
If it pops up, I'm ready to unpin that and get it. The Blitz is back. we have the Thinker. We've got the Jackal instead because, well, they were punished by Aroma. What's going to track them better than the Jackal?
Very true. To be able to at least get that hopping around and make sure that you have somewhat of an idea on the movements and locations of that roamer if you find boots. Now, again, very aggressive kind of swings looking over the top here. Yeeble's just waiting patiently before a move is going to be announced. This is going to be making it difficult to get rid of that shield, and well, we've seen Sayora basically undo the Blitz's existence in a single pump before whilst that shield was in front of them, so really be wanting to make sure that you can get rid of that shield to give yourselves the best opportunity, because as soon as you have to dance around that, it'll be feeling too great. There it is. It's going to be the Blitz again on the way. The shot finds one, not the second though. The Blitz will stay alive for now in a DBNO state, but completely punished there Gaki was as well.
I have a couple of thoughts, but I'll get to them in a minute. It's a 2 versus 2. Out of a very sudden breakthrough, very well held in that situation. The grenade is going to pop its way over the top. Ryder is waiting on for the next fight, but it's turned into a little bit of a stunned silence. Misa, you've seen the kit is out there. They're not going to reinforce that wall. They've decided to try and keep things a bit loose for now. They don't want to accidentally give the audio away and give a nearby player a reason to swing. They've doubled themselves down towards that side. There's a little bit more of a gap, but it's an awkward approach here. The wall has been reinforced at this point. As soon as they realize that they had a little bit of safe to work with, the grenade will get a bit too far, but it does get rid of some gadgetry. Misa pulls themselves back. Now a 2 versus 2 there. It's droning and just finding out where those missing players are.
So much time left as well, 50 seconds for PSG to try and isolate one of them, turn this into a 1v1, or maybe force one into overstepping slightly. Sending some shots through, they're hoping to find at least something. Both of the Talon players holding passive angles and not actively trying to go for the gunfight here. Misa quickly trying to look over the bomb chassis there, but as they are going to swing through, it's Misa took up one, Vamos to Wall trade out, and now in a 1v1, 20 seconds on the clock. Yes, the right ID, but Misa comes out on top, and Talon find another round.
Alright, so you know when the Blitz went down?
Yes.
And the person following the fight was a Thinker?
Yeah.
And they won the first engagement? Fair enough. They lent into the second engagement. What does Thinker's ability do?
Actually, you know, gives you health, but also can pick your allies back up.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if they used it right as they went in, because sometimes you see that as well, like you get an extra 20 HP.
I was thinking that, but then no one else, I had a look on the team, and I could be wrong, I might have just looked too late, but no one else had the temporary hit points, so...
Yeah. Also, we're like, I mean, the rush was happening, 3 players were committed, the other 2 weren't. The last 2 that were standing. That could have actually made the difference there. Because people had to return to the side. If you actually would have pushed the full 5, I mean, you might have lost an extra one, but at least you could be planting on the side at that point. It's just a small criticism. Sometimes we do see it go the other way around.
10 seconds remaining.
But after 2 successful rounds from Talon,
5 seconds left.
they have equalized the score now. And I mean, we knew that their defense was better than their offense. Still a lot of work to do for them, but those 2 rounds, very good on Talon.
Deploying ADS. Swapping max.
Razor wire in position.
What kind of
For a
technique are you gonna
piece.
go for? Yeah.
Talon, they've pulled it back here. They've got themselves back level. There's, you know, some good moments from BSG's attack, but things are getting a little bit skittish on the back end of it. Neko drone's just doing a little bit of reconnaissance. It wants to not get shot as it moves its way across. There's a ton of players on the back of it and following the tail. It has slowed down Jin's entrance here. There's finally slink through. The fight is actually going to happen around the corner. Luckily, their drone was taken out just a second before they pop off the air jab. Gaki is in the meantime putting the pressure onto T3.
The drones, just making sure you have as much information as possible. And it's of course because you want to open up that hatch, you want to use it as a bit of pressure. You don't want that to be retaken for free without knowing about it. So as they continue on. I mean, Crazy Boy and Jin are on the opposite sides of the map. Now, Crazy Boy's going for a bit of a rotate, but I'm not quite sure what they're hoping to achieve there. Maybe it's just to put pressure down. You're also occupying yourself, and that's someone that isn't actually able to fight over the sides. It's not able to fight on these direct vertical plays that Ryder is, for example, in. It's getting very close. He knows there's a phone call insecurity. I believe it's a shotgun playing out there. So you're currently on the SMG-11, but if that's a shotgun, that could go really south real quick.
Echo drone is still doing its reconnaissance. Ooh, and there's the follow-up. Too distracted by the drone. Sayura gets the pick. Ride is able to get a second here, and I mean, they're just getting a little bit too lost in the sauce of what's ahead of them here. Yeeble caught out a 5 versus 1. We are teed up. Maybe the first flawless across this series so far. Vamos has everything to do and still all the utility to get through as well. And, you know, there just seemed to be this distraction, this idea of where the pressure was going to be, where it was going to come from, that slowed everything down. And, no, haven't seen an Echo drone lead someone into a trap like that for a while, but
not sure if it was like 100% meant to be a trap. I think the yokai was being pulled back to side, and suddenly the player gets spotted out there, so he hops up to not lose the yokai drone, which in turn actually distracted Jin trying to find the Echo drone, not realizing someone's on the top of white taking that fight. So worked out well in the end. Yokai drone's going to be spotting out and stunning Vamos now. 4 seconds left. Just going to be them running at Vamos. He doesn't stand a chance. There actually finds Roy Boy, but the round will still go to them. And Crazy Boy's calling for a tactical timeout. They need a quick jab because things are just not working at all right now for the side of BSG. After they started off so well on the defense, 3 rounds in a row consecutively for Talon right now, and you start to worry for BSG. They want to lock this off in 2 maps. They do not want to go to Consulate if they can help it.
Can I reconnect?
Just wants to restart the game, probably. Let's see. Waiting patiently. Love that chat on the top, by the way.
Screen shot, please.
What?
Are they running? So, is that how they're doing the admin?
Maybe screenshot the FPS issue, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but we're low on time now.
To be very quick.
It was a huge sort of clutch to pull it back in at points earlier on in the game, but otherwise...
We're back in! Let's go!
Woo-hoo.
Now, top floor again coming through. Talon have been doing well. Complete rotation, so they just get to continue on that or go to the quaternary site.
Protect your bombs from being defused by
I
attackers.
should still fit that word in this cast. Remember how last year had to put that. Either way. Again, how are you going to be attacking this BSG? Like, are you going to be, as a unit, put pressure from Attic, also from games at the same time, so you can actually, you know, get crossfires across, make sure there's a lot of uncomfortable spaces to play in. Because I believe that the last round was a lot more unilateral in the kind of approach they were here. Games, very heavy presence, and really putting pressure on the opposite sides. Big openings being made there by the big cannon being carried by Roy Boy in the ACS.
Objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
It is a fun
SBG
sound.
is now going to be starting their approach. Again, we see the Beast, this time not on the hands of Crazy Boy, who's gone over towards the line, so he's wanting a more heavy-hitting gun, I guess, to take the fight with.
What have the team talk of BSG... Oh, what have BSG team talked about is probably the better way that works in terms of an English sentence.
No worries, I struggle sometimes as well.
I know, and I think you're just rubbing off on me. Yaki is poised to try and root out a fight here on the side of Armory. The drone comes through, but they don't get the pickup. Mies is able to slink away. A bit of a missed sort of moment there, and oh, if Misa wins this, that's a huge blow. Saw the head of the hammer, pulls his way away. More swings, more sprays, another drone, but he was baiting it this time. Gaki wins out. It took a lot more utility than it probably should have, though.
2 drones and a grenade, and more than half your HP there for Gaki that was lost during that fight. But at least it's the opening, and its armory opened up, so that is definitely a plus. Afraid of the potential impact trick now as well. Yibble isn't instantly going for the opening, so again, we'll probably see a player go downstairs to try and take the fight on whoever is on the opposite side. And Ryder, the only one with the impact trick still left. Not sure if Solas is playing on the side, but just trying to have that security. Just trying to make sure that they do not need to worry about anything stopping this from happening.
Another pulse of the E1D, the hunt. Whatever might be loose around them. There's the swing and the catch outside, though. Crazy boy. Locked off by Ryder, and they have the re-rotate all the way back. There really hasn't been any pressure here. I mean, with the bottom white window still soft, Jin leans in, but he doesn't know about the other player. Took a gamble, and once again, on the white stairs, a BSG player's been sort of led into one engagement, whereas someone else or something else has been ready to pop its head around and cause some problems. So although they have some tentative control here of bedroom, of trophy, there's a warden that knows how to cover their blinds, and they somehow win it out, even though no one's coming from the front of them, with Ryder getting the retake round the back. There's a surrounded player, misses the first shot, wins it out. Vamos, 2 versus 1. Without any utility with the positions of these players, it's a very tricky piece back together here.
It's going to be very tricky, especially with that shield. All he has to do is just wait and stand up at the right time, call it out for your teammate, play on contact. Fuser's not in hand. Vamos needs to go for the kills right here, gives away one position, still finds the win in the end. That means Talon is now going to find themselves onto a map point. After, well, they started it off pretty strong, but again, Jin being baited into the white stairs, losing their life over there, as well as the back to rotate out from Crazy Boy that gets punished. Talon, they find themselves with an extra round before they go to Consulate. And what we saw in the attic there from the sledge, by the way, that was checking for the sake of checking. Like, went around the corner, checked. Okay, yeah, there's no one there. Turns back around and was like, oh wait, there was someone there. And you're too late at that point. It's a fight lost. So that's unfortunate. Basement again. Last round, potentially, that we will see. Crazy Boy hasn't played the signature Romero yet. Keeps on swapping off to different operators. It's not allowed.
I'm sorry.
Fun.
I'm sorry your fact got ruined.
I mean, he has been picking it. He's just been re-picking it afterwards. So
10
it's,
seconds to go.
someone has pulled him in and it's been like, Crazy Boy, come on now. No
5
more
seconds
ammo
to
replay time. We need to win. Maybe that's a secret formula. Maybe you need to get him back on the ammo with the Supernova. He's been doing some work in previous matches with that. Forcing him to play like a teammate? Utility?
Talon, they've been able to pull things back here on the second half for, what was a couple of rounds in their attack. They looked a bit sharpish, even in some of the ones that they didn't win towards the end of it. Will not count the first 2. It has turned them around a bit. I'm still curious how we'll get to see when we get them back on attack, because they had good moments in their defense before as well. Jin's going out for the call and getting themselves locked in. There's a player not too far away down at the bottom of T1 towards Pillar, and we know that they do like to dabble with some swings up. However, it seems like a pretty clear take of you can have the rest of it, come fight us on the side.
Yeah, a phone call will help with that as well, as you do no longer hear people like next to you. Like sometimes you're wondering, like, is there someone out there? Like, drone got taken out, but I'm not sure if he's still around. The phone call will confirm that at that point. So you know there's no one left on those top floors. Now they're starting to pay their attention towards the actual site. Jin on the tower stairs, looking to find, or at least push someone to be taking the fight to him. He gets the spot out. All he needs to do is get the right ping for the pre-fire. So the player keeps on moving back and forth, so it's going to be very hard for him to take this fight. He's going to try and attempt it anyway. Goes for it, finds it as well. Knows about the player close, but the swing isn't coming from Talon.
Well, the first body gone. With it being Misa, who hasn't quite been able to have the impact over this round or the last. They did waste a lot of time here. They were a big problem for their roots around. And also, you lose the ward and you lose the cover on, oh, what's that in the pockets? Candelas and Capital bolts. There's suddenly a lot of utility that's become very dangerous to play against. The smoke there, the Candelas force the player out of pillar. Jin takes a bit of a scrap and they pop some utility to get themselves covered back, but they don't drop the hatch at the same second. They've cleared those players a bit. They've moved their way around. Crazy Boy tucked around the corner. There's a Goyo only a centimeter away. They're waiting for the right time to swing, but, well, as we saw a bolt being prepped, when will JLT make their motion? Not sure if they're going for the full drone and the read here, how much they're aware of. There's JLT for one, there's JLT for a second, but they do get picked up as the trade. However, the down is important, 30 seconds. They're going for the recollection whilst they can, just tucked on the inside of the door, going for the baited plant here. They want the swing. There's the pre-fire, there's the catch on the planter. It's just a 1 versus 3. Jin, everything left to do here for BSG on this map. Gets two out of the trouble, but there's a single player in 10 seconds. Swinging with the SMG. Roy Boy's trying to work out just where they're coming from behind, and it's Roy Boy that pushes it over for Talon, and we will be having our third map.
Talon looking a lot better here, especially after round 3. Showing up why they were the favorite team in this matchup to start off with. And they need to do it once more when we head to Consulate. For that, I think it's time to go for a very quick break.